Alright. Hey guys, it is me, misamango again, and this time, this travel tip that I have is ordering food in Japan. Now, before I went, I was like, oh my god, what if I just don't know? My major is Japanese, but I was still freaking out like, oh my god, what if I can't communicate properly with these people? Needless to say, what I thought was cute was like, even if I'd ask, or even if I would order in Japanese, they'd talk back to me in English, and I was like, alright, whatever, let's just roll with it. So, if you're concerned, or if you don't know any Japanese, don't worry, it is perfectly fine, because I remember when we went to McDonald's, when we ordered food, they have a menu specifically, and you can just point at it, and they'd be like, okay, and then I'd be like, oh, kore, like this one, and then they're like, okay, and they're like this, and then they're like soda, and I'm like, yeah. So don't feel worried about ordering food like at like a restaurant type of thing, because you just have to literally, they have a menu, like a printable laminated one, and you can just point at it, or they have like menu with pictures, and they're like, flip through it and then just go through this, and we're like, alright, cool. So if you're concerned about ordering food with no knowledge of any English, with no knowledge of the language, don't be that worried of ordering. Okay, so in Japan, they do have it's pretty interesting. They have like vending machines, so you pay beforehand. So if it's like, oh, Tonkotsu Ramen, basic one, it's 500 yen. So you put in 500 yen into the machine, and then it spits out a ticket that looks like this. So it looks like this, and it comes with like another half, but they just tear that off, and then that's what they give to the chefs cooking in the back. So I would recommend maybe writing this beforehand. So if you don't know Japanese, or if you know basics, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to tell like ramen, and ramen's written in katakana. But if you don't know, I would do some research into the food beforehand, just so you can like be like, okay, I would like this food, and then at least you can know like the basic derivatives of the word, and then you can like, take it from there. So when you're ordering food from the vending machine, you're either gonna have coins. I have so much coins left still. So you're gonna order coins, or you're gonna pay with bills. This is 1,000 yen, and one quick tip that I would give you guys is, in case you don't know, or in case you're like, oh, how much is like 1,000 yen in US currency? I just know this for you in US currency, so I'm sorry if you're not from the US. A rule of thumb is just at the end, take out the last 2 zeros. So if you do, oh my nails. So if you do, that leaves you with 10. So this is roughly $10. Bam, easy peasy. Same with the 500 yen. Take out the last 2 zeros, you're left with $5. So 500 yen is roughly like $5. And then with the 100 yen, last 2 zeros, $1. So like this costs 150 yen, and then I'm pretty sure, so this is like a 6-piece gyoza, and then kimchi. So this is kimchi. I guess we ordered kimchi. So it was like a side of kimchi for like 170 yen. So I would just, either if you want to write it down from this video or just look into it more, I would just have a little list before that, just so you know, like when you're going to these vending machines, because I can see that being an issue for people who don't really speak the language. Like I remember Christian went to order, what did he order? I think that's where he got the kimchi thing, and then he went off and he was just like, oh my god, I have no idea, and he was just like, and then the Japanese boy was like, what do you want? He's like, and then he's like, Maryland, and I was like, oh, hang on, I'm going. So we're like, okay, we want this. So every time you go into a restaurant, they always greet you very politely, and every time you're leaving, they always they don't greet you, well, they're saying goodbye to you, like politely also. Anytime you go out, I think it's cute, because it's like, because Christian doesn't know Japanese, so like even they knew that, but they'd still count back the money. So like even just bear with them. It's like just their job just to count the money back to you, and it's just like, okay, thank you. Alright, just as another hint, you don't tip in Japan, which is like a weird thing to me. just because I'm so used to every time I go out to eat, unless if the customer service is horrible, then I don't really tip. But yeah, you don't really tip in Japan, so it was like weird, like just leaving the dishes and just like being like, alright, bye, and I was just like, oh my god. So I'd like clean my spot and like clean my table to make sure it's not like messy. I'm like, I can't tip you, so this is the most I can do for you. And they're just like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm sorry. It just feels weird not to tip. People there are pretty friendly. They try to help you as best as they can in English, or it's basically like, you know, the whole menu pointing. So it's just like, it's pretty easy. Oh, you know what is interesting? If you go to, I don't know if it's like more like updated restaurants or something, because I only saw this like at El Torito and like I can't remember where else. If you, I think we ordered wrong because it seemed like when we went to El Torito, so this might be at other restaurants just as a heads up, it seems like they order like small things at a time, and like, or I don't know what it was, but I think we ordered too much too fast and they were just like, are you sure you want this? Something that we found interesting was that Christian drinks like he likes alcohol, and so we buzzed them and then they came to us. This was at El Torito, by the way, and they gave us another beer and then they gave us the receipt at the end, and then we noticed that the beer wasn't there, so we finished up, packed our things, and we go up there and we're like, oh, like you're missing a beer on here, and they're like, oh no, it's okay, and like they scan it and it pops up and we're like, oh my god, what is this new technology? We were so amused by that, because like, you know how here in America they just take your order like on like a pencil pad and they write it like, oh, extra beer, but they just printed out the original order, but I guess they input it into the receipt system, or I don't know. Oh, sorry, I don't know how it was, but it was just like, we're like, oh my god, and then the Japanese girl was like, yeah, because she was just kind of laughing like, oh, it's okay guys, and we're like, oh my god, how is this possible? So yeah, heads up, if you see like on your receipt that everything that you ordered isn't on there, like from what you first ordered, they do keep track of it, so don't, it's just weird. It's just like different, and I was like, what the heck is this? So if you have any other questions, or if you want to see me talk about something specific that you don't know, or if you'd like to know about traveling to Japan, just leave it down below and I will be sure to answer them for you. And other than that, I will see you next time. Bye! My wrist hurts. Because when you're exchanging it in the other country, they verify that it's yours by your signatures.